President Biden is in Palo Alto, California, beginning a 3-day swing to raise money and push some of his major campaign themes. Just a couple of minutes ago, he announced a $600 million investment to help coastal communities fight climate change.
Folks, the impacts we're seeing in climate change are only going to get more frequent and more ferocious and more costly. Last year alone, natural disasters in America caused $165 billion in damage. Just last year alone, $165 billion in damage.
All right, with the panel now, first big campaign rally this weekend with union workers. Chris, I feel like what we're seeing right now is the power of the incumbency, right? You get to take Air Force One to California, everybody gets to meet with the president, and you get to have these sort of quasi-campaign political events where you get to say, look at all the great things I've done to help the Democratic agenda.
That's right. And he also wants to say, unions are a big part of his pitch inside the Democratic Party and in the general electorate. And California is the scene of a recent deal that was struck for the longshoremen to unload these cargo vessels. He wants to claim credit for that. And he also wants to undercut what we've read in the New York. Well, did you guys see the recent New York Times piece that talked about how active Joe Biden is? And so the administration is very much, let's put him in a ball cap. Let's put him out there. Let's put him on the road. Let's show that he is peppy for 81.
But that's just bait. I mean, he is the incumbent. He's got a record to run on. We're about a year plus out from the conventions and the actual general election. And I think Joe Biden's right on time, regardless of who's running against him. They're at like 15%. And so it is the power of the incumbency and not taking the bait to do more or to run his campaign differently or to act like he's not the incumbent. He is the incumbent, and he's got a lot of experience despite his age.
Well, despite his age.
Well, on that point,
I did that for you, Leland.
I will not make youth and inexperience a political issue in this campaign.
The other thing that's interesting about that clip you showed where Joe Biden's talking and appealing to the environmentalists, Ron DeSantis actually has a great story to tell about environmental stewardship, something that's been a really big deal in Florida. And that is something that he can go toe-to-toe with Joe Biden when he points to his experience and what he's done for the state of Florida. So I think we're going to see more on that point, which you don't hear much as they would like, I think, from a lot of Republican candidates.
But the DeSantis campaign isn't talking about this on a national or federal stage. He wants to run on his record, but running on his record is one thing. Fighting with Newsom and fighting Disney is a local state issue. How does he broaden that debate?
Let us get to DeSantis in a second. Okay. But at the same time, and we had seen for 8 months or so, the White House kind of do the basement strategy that they had done in 2020. Now, President Biden is back out on the trail. He's making speeches. He's making public appearances. Conceivably, he's going to do some interviews at some point. This was President Biden speaking at the National Safer Communities Summit in Connecticut on Friday, calling for tougher gun control laws. Take a listen.
It's the least consequential part of this whole meeting for you, I promise. All right? God save the Queen, man.
And the more you're going to have moments like that, whether it's a slip or whether it's just a phrase that he occasionally says and comes up with, either way, when you're explaining gaffes, it's not a good thing.
As a person who makes up goofy phrases all of the time, I will defend God Save the Queen. What was the other one he had recently, which was best of luck in your senior year? Remember when he said that? Yeah. So he's Joe Biden. He says goofy stuff. And I think I know what he meant, which was like, well, whatever, like a whatever bro kind of thing, like a moving on from here.
So I'm going to disagree a little bit here because, from my perspective, you still kind of want to know what he means. I didn't know what he meant here. And you have these really wacky things. And then you go to his press people and you say, what did he mean by that? They're not even able to explain it. And I'm like, can somebody go back and ask him and come back? But they haven't been able to do that. But if you go through the transcript and even read some of his statements provided by the White House, he's missing words. Like there's whole phrases and words missing and verbs and nouns.
I think, Scott, the more he's out there, and we can all agree that President Biden says and does things that require explanation and cleanup by his staff, the more this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got more experience than anybody else running for president. But more importantly, that he was deadpanning, what I call deadpanning, when he says, God save the Queen. I don't think that was a gaffe at all. It's like when we say if something happens in this country and it's not the best or the worst, and you say deadpan, God bless America. Can you believe that? Blah, blah, blah. Well, he was deadpanning about the Queen. And so I think that's a little overreach. If you look at the prior GOP presidential presidents in this country in the last 20, 25 years. The media scrutinized their gaffes, scrutinized them falling down, including Trump and others. And I think that's just kind of the media coverage of it. His age comes into play, and so he's an easy target.
I think they're both right.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.